Hello and welcome to OpenRCT2, the community mod for the original RollerCoaster Tycoon and RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 that fixes some stuff for the modern era and gives access to every scenario across all of those games and expansion packs. But today, this is going to be the first in a series of videos chronicling our progress through everything RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 and 2, as well as their expansion packs offer. Up first, the scenario anyone who's ever played any of these games will be familiar with, Forest Frontiers. Now, I've already completed this with a company value of $95,853, so we're going to try and beat that today and make a park that's actually good looking and not just something that wins the scenario. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, this one, of course, is the first scenario. It's the tutorial level in the original game, and it has the easiest goal of any scenario in RollerCoaster Tycoon with 250 guests at the end of October and a park rating of 600. Now, to be perfectly honest, we could beat this by slapping down like 2 rides and just hitting super fast forward and be done with it, but that's not really fun, is it? So we're going to, actually try here. Set ourselves a $5 opening price here, and start out as we always do in these kinds of games with a merry-go-round and a very simple queue setup. Going to charge, say, 50 cents for the merry-go-round. Pick ourselves I like the yellow queue paths, but we'll just pop this right in here and then give ourselves the regular asphalt. I guess the game might call it tarmac, but I guess that's just a British English definition. Go ahead and open this up and we'll hear that lovely merry-go-round music that everyone is so familiar with. But of course the objective in this game is to get as many guests as possible and, not have a terrible park rating. It's hard to fail the first time, so we can not have to be super worried about it. But, of course, you don't start out with very much. Just a couple of different rides in these areas here. So we have to research. I always like to do maximum funding. I don't really care about the gentle rides or the transport rides for the purpose of this scenario. So we're going to focus on roller coasters and shops and stalls. And I'll show you why once we start unlocking stuff. We'll get that going and start giving these guys some more stuff to do. I found that the twist, I guess the game I played growing up called it Scrambled Eggs, but this seems to be based off of the British version of the game. We can pop a couple of these guys in here. Doesn't have to be anything super complicated. I'm actually going to put that on that side. This holds 18 passengers, which in theory is 3.5 of these queue things. I'm pretty sure each one of these can hold 5. So what we will do is I'm just going to put 3 because, it really doesn't matter that much. Give ourselves a little bit of a path here. And then what we're going to do on the side of this is we have some opportunities to place in other things nice and tight out of the way. Like, say, a bathroom right here would actually fit quite nicely. You can actually charge for the bathroom, which is a statement that would appall most people in the United States, but it's very common overseas. I always like to just do 50 cents. That covers the running cost, and they'll happily pay it, so, why not? Now, we have these 2 in place, ready to accept guests. There's not going to be very many people super enthusiastic about riding either of these things, so we want to get into roller coasters sooner rather than later, but we'll go ahead, and I always like to make a little food court area, a little bit of decoration, so we'll go ahead and just place the burger bar and the ice cream. Oh, this calls it Fruity Ices in the US version. The original disc that I had in 1999 was called Ice Cream Stall. We have the drinks also. Just pop those right next to everything. I don't ever worry about the prices for this, not in a simple scenario like Forest Frontiers. But now we've got all of our food concessions in one area, and I like to have these little paths kind of bump out a little bit because you can take the benches and put them on a stub path, and you get 3 of them right there. So that's always nice, and I'll put a little trash can right there, a little eating spot for everybody. And then if I'm going to have a corner and a path, this isn't going to stay a corner for long, but if I ever have a corner, I like to put trash cans there. I don't know, there's not really any reason for it, I just think it looks cool. And then at the exit of any ride, I always like to put a pair of benches, especially if it's going to be a roller coaster, because if they're going to feel barfy after it, they're going to want to sit down or you're going to have a mess to clean up. So of course, to do that, we have to have Handyman. OpenRCT2 automatically places them, so you don't have to use the pincers or anything. I'll go ahead and hire 2, and then I'll hire a mechanic, just so we're all taken care of ready to go. Now, one of the things that I really got annoyed with in the original game, and something that has been since fixed in, or I guess changed rather, in this recreation of it, is that if we go into options, you'll notice that, actually no, it was which one of these was it? One of these, here it is, inspection interval, 10 minutes. In the original game, this defaulted to like 30 minutes or an hour, and it was just, it wasn't right. So this defaults to 10. I think that's much better. And of course, you have all these other options as RCT, 2, 1, everything combines into whatever they wanted to do for the open stuff. I've got the scale factor set to 2. If you don't like the scale of things on the screen, let me know, we can change it. I'm just kind of throwing something at the wall, seeing what sticks. If people want to watch, then of course we'll do a whole lot more. If the enthusiasm's not really there, then we'll probably still keep doing these, but maybe not quite as much. So we have rain. It'd be really nice if we had the information kiosk, because you can sell umbrellas. And they'll pay any price for the umbrellas, no matter what it is. So that can be a very easy moneymaker. But we haven't researched the information kiosk yet, so... Oh, hey, guess what? April 2nd, we're going to have that. But they're not going to ride anything in the rain, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through that. OpenRCT2 also has this turbo speed that is way faster. It's really going to help as we get into later scenarios where there's going to be a lot of downtime to try and get the goal accomplished. But you can see these guys really aren't too enthused about any of this stuff. I mean, this one person's going to ride the twist thing. But now we have the information kiosk, so let's go ahead and pop this guy in. I usually like to put him somewhere near the entrance. And this right here probably wouldn't be a bad spot, but I'm going to go across the way right here. And this is another thing I like about OpenRCT2 is that you can randomize the color of the umbrellas instead of just, picking one. But here's where the real fun begins. It's not cheating, it's exploiting a weakness inherent in the system. The umbrella price goes up to $20. Now keep in mind, in 1999, $20 would have been a completely insane amount of money to pay for an umbrella. 2024, yeah, okay. You're probably going to pay that much if you go to a convenience store and you get one that's not a complete piece of garbage. But if it rains, they will pay any amount of money to not get wet. And you can make a huge amount of money, relatively speaking, pretty quickly. So we'll just leave this here, and they'll buy it. It does not matter. So next, we're going to want to put in a roller coaster of some type, and we've got a couple options here. So to start ourselves off, we have the wooden coaster and we have the mini roller coaster. And there's a bunch of predefined things that you can put in. These are the user-submitted ones that came with OpenRCT2. If you have played the original game, you're going to recognize Mischief and Woodchip. And I think there were a couple other ones that... I think this one was one... I can't remember what it was called. But this was one of the ones that showed up, I believe, in RCT2. There's a couple others, like you can recognize some of these have the special track elements that didn't show up until later games. But for the most part, I like Woodchip for this scenario because it is a pretty good all-around coaster, and they'll pay, what, $4 or $5 a piece to ride it? But we don't have enough money to build it right now. It costs $7,228 before any terraforming and tree removal or anything, and we only have $69.64, so not quite enough. I wonder why they're not riding the merry-go-round. I'm not paying that much. It's 50 cents! Alright, fine. Merry-go-round's free. Just get on it. It's supposed to be absorbing guests to form, a queue here. Well, I want to go ahead and build the roller coaster because it is only a one-year scenario, so I'm going to go ahead and take out another $5,000 in loans. And we will plop the woodchip down, but I don't necessarily want to just shove it as close to the entrance as I can. Because, you don't have to play that way. You can actually get a lot of cool stuff in this map if you want to. I mean, again, it's a one-year scenario, so you really don't need to do that much. But if we just did the most basic thing possible to win, like, all right, what's the point of taking the time to, actually play the game and make a video about it? Can't change. I'm not trying to change the operating mode. There's some of these weird little things that it does, but I'm gonna pop that guy right there. You can see we left a couple of the trees in place, which actually is pretty nice. I think it affects the... It's not going to show me the test results yet because we haven't run the roller coaster But if you have scenery within a certain range of the track, it does give it a slight excitement boost. But we need to put in the entrance and the exit. So on the roller coasters, I always like to put the entrance right at the very front of the station track area, and the exit usually at the back. So that way the guests getting on are always closest, and the guests who are getting off get out of the way. In reality, the game doesn't care. It's not going to penalize you for putting it different spaces. I just like how this looks. So what I always like to do with this roller coaster in specific is I like to snake this line around, because this full queue, I believe, will hold about enough to fill every available car here. But we haven't gotten there quite yet. So I'm going to move this path out, leave a little bit of space in between here in case we want to put some flat rides or other things. But I'm gonna, yeah, you know what? We'll do this way. It should be fine. And now we can hit open. And I like to set to start the admission on this guy. Probably $3 is fine, especially for this scenario. Again, it really doesn't matter. It's the very first scenario in the game. It's not hard. Later games, later scenarios, though, you can really get yourself in trouble if you under or overprice rides. But for now, we're just having a good time. So some of these guests are going to balk at the either the price or the intensity of the coaster, depending on their preference. Each scenario is different. But you'll get a couple who want to go in there. And we'll go ahead and put in a couple of these benches, and then I'll replace those trash cans because I had to move them out from here. Yeah, I just want to make sure we have some every so often so we don't run into garbage all over the place. Now we have all this space here we can fill with other stuff or scenery or what have you. Is there even anybody on the first train? No. Okay, so that one's just going to go because I think that was what our setting was. Yeah, wait for half load, maximum waiting time 60 seconds. You can actually change the lift hill chain speed. This was not a feature in the original game, as far as I can remember. But I think it might have been RCT2. I'm not going to mess with it for right now. But there's other instances in which we may want to do that. So let's speed this up a little bit, a lot of bit. Try to get more of these guests in here. They will eventually flock to this, but they've got to, you know, actually find it first, and they have to know that the park exists. All right. Oh, we have the looping roller coaster now. This is one of my favorite things to do in this game. Get this guy. There's a bunch of these. There's so many designs you can pick that people have just submitted, and I guess they included in the packaging of the game. But this shuttle loop here is a very, very powerful roller coaster. So what I like to do with this guy is I will actually build, let's see if I can figure out a good place to stick this. It's probably going to have to be on this side here. But I will take these, and I will put two of them right next to each other. I think probably the best way to do it is going to be, yeah, let's say right here. Put the entrance up here, exit back here. And then what I'm going to do next to it is I'm going to get a second one, and I'm just going to mirror it. And what you can do with that, if you're not familiar, is you can go in here in the settings for the ride, and you can synchronize with adjacent stations. So these will actually race each other. And of course, it's going to be exactly the same because it's, you know, the game physics aren't that advanced. But it's pretty cool. And of course, since this is set to powered launch mode, you can change the launch speed. 40 miles per hour is the correct speed for these two, to where it's not going to fall off the edge of the track and, you know, explode and kill people. But you can adjust it if you want. You can make it slower, you can make it faster. That obviously is going to affect the test results. But it's about to rain. So you're going to see, yeah, see that 20, 20, 20? Yeah, they're going to buy it no matter what. And we're going to make a bunch of money from it. I think each guest comes in, I think it was like between $60 and $90 in their pocket, randomly selected. So, yeah, see, this one came in with $90. $20 spent on a souvenir, the umbrella. $5 paid to enter the park. They haven't gotten on any rides yet. Well, they haven't paid to go on any rides. I think they went on the merry-go-round because that one was free. But if you need a quick, easy money-making thing, if you're ever playing the game, you can do that. So, let's go ahead and pop in right here. I always like to do this. I know we're going to have the ugliness of the 2x2 space, but I really like... Let's just try... There we go. I really like these things matching side by side like this. I think it looks cool. And it defaults the train designs. I think sometimes we'll randomly... Oh, no, actually. They're identical. So we can take a, of course, opportunity to modify this if we feel so inclined. Again, it's a short scenario. We don't really have a ton of time to just mess around too much. But there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the stuff that, you know, got introduced with RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 that I think a lot of people don't really mess with. I don't know why this is an option for no entrance, but apparently it is. I'm just going to leave this as, what was the plain one? Yeah. So they're identical. We'll go ahead and get these two both open at the same time. And it's cool. Like, look, they match each other. It looks really neat. And of course, once the guests get on here, the trains do get a little heavier, and then they creep all the way to the edge right here, but they don't come off. So we'll see when these guys actually get in here. I'll go ahead and pop the benches like I like to do at the end there. And then, oh, you know what? I also did not charge anything for this, so we'll go ahead and set $1 as the admission price for this guy. There we go. And this will be a money printer. These make so much money, and it's not really cheesing. Well, one, because it's a default track that the game gives you. There's other ways to cheese that I have done in the past, but I'm going to try not to do too much of that in these videos because, you know, you're playing the game. You're not just trying to, okay, well, I cleared this one. It's supposed to be a fun thing, right? So, you see, you can just infinite dollars pretty much right here. And it's May 20th. We have 209 guests already. The goal is 250 by October, so this scenario, really, you could pretty much sleepwalk through it. But we're here, so we might as well enjoy ourselves. Suspended swinging coaster I never really do too much with. I prefer to build the other kinds of stuff. But now... See, I don't have any more thrill rides either. Like, go-karts are a great thing to put in here, but I'm pretty sure in this scenario you don't get those. I don't know if they're unlockable or not. The haunted house, people don't really care too much about. Now, the car ride's a pretty neat thing. I think the guests in this scenario tend to like milder rides. So why don't we see... I know there's a bunch of these that come with stuff, but I don't have the scenery unlocked in this scenario because, again, it's the first scenario in the game. They don't really have scenery packs in here yet. So these usually, especially the ones that come from RollerCoaster Tycoon 2, are going to have a lot of really cool-looking scenery. But it's just not present here because we haven't unlocked it. So outside of that, there's not really much we can do except just, you know, place stuff in and decorate appropriately. See, this Old Timers one has those, like a jalopy-style old-time cars. And I was like, hey, well, it's called Old Timers, duh. But that's not something we have access to, so pretty sure. Yeah, see, this will fit pretty much anywhere. And if you can have the rides interact with each other, that's always fun, but I'll go ahead and just put this guy right here. There's not really a lot of space for scenery. We might end up replacing some of that later. But for now, see, we can choose racing cars, pickup trucks. Oh, those look like those little K-trucks. Or sports cars. Sports cars are fun. It'll actually, wow, it'll let you have 15 of these? That seems like too much. Because it's only, yeah, it's only 6 station tiles. I don't think that's going to hold that many. But if you go into test mode, yeah, see, that's a lot of cars. I don't think we want to have that many. So let's go back, close this. I'll take this back down to 8, I think is what it was. Set it to open. And we'll just charge a modest 50 cents to go into this. And, of course, we have to get the queue established, which we'll do right there, and then, of course, give ourselves the benches at the end. And now, I mean, honestly, this right here, this is more than enough, way more than enough, to get us to complete the scenario successfully. But this video so far is only 20 minutes long. Oh, we can do some more stuff, maybe mess with some scenery, continue adding rides as we... continue on toward the objective. It's only June 2nd. We basically already beat the game. When we take a look at our financials, The company value is $80,192. My previous score is 95 grand here, so I would like to try to beat that. And the company value, if you're not aware, is just your park value minus your loan plus your cash on hand. That's all it boils down to. So if we can reduce our loan value, which we can pay off with the cash on hand, then the company value goes up. Or the park value, we can just brute force it by just building a whole bunch of stuff in the park, and then it calculates based on the value of your rides and how many staff you have, park rating and all that. So, actually, you know what? The ride seems to be able to support more than 8 cars at once. But I think we can just leave this alone for the time being. Are all these trains full? That says 40... Okay, it's in the middle, but that one was full. That train's full, and I think this one will be too. Yeah, okay. We can roll with that. 60, yeah, that's a full ride. This one, of course, is full. 16 people on ride. I don't think this one does multiple laps. No, it's just continuous circuit mode. That's the only mode you can do with these guys. So we'll do that. Take a look at our scenery. Again, it's the first scenario in the game. We really don't have access to much, but we do have trees. It doesn't look like a magnolia tree. It looks like a cherry blossom tree. I don't know. Maybe magnolias look different in other parts of the world. Tree. Yeah, there you go. Cedar of Lebanon tree. So that looks kind of cool. But since this is a forest, you're probably going to have mostly these fir trees. This was not called a Caucasian fir tree in the version of the game that I had, but... yeah, there's just a bunch of cool stuff. Montezuma pine trees, Scott's pine tree. Yeah, some of this is definitely from RollerCoaster Tycoon 2, because I do not remember all that. We got the Norway spruce trees. There's a couple of those in here, so... Again, I really don't have very many places to put scenery in this ride. Maybe the shorter, like, bushes or something? That's not even a bush. These are the shrubs. Yeah, see, these that take a quarter of a thing are fine. We've got fountains. These giraffe thing I've always thought was kind of funny. Fences, hedges. If you want to take the time to like exhaustively detail, you can. There's a lot of options for it, especially in the later scenarios. But, you know, actually, yeah, there's these little topiary things. Was that the, squirrels? Was that rotated correctly? Yeah, that's exactly what this is. These are squirrels. Yeah, we can pop a couple more of these in, just because they were already placed there. Yeah, we can make that match. No harm in that. Is that, Oh, no, there are ducks on this side. That's a squirrel. Am I just losing my mind? Like, am I taking crazy pills? Because those all match. But I feel like this doesn't. Yeah, squirrel-shaped tree. Why can't I... Alright. That's wrong. Do I have to rotate it again? Oh, okay. Anyway. I don't know, I just had some sort of existential crisis about squirrel-shaped topiaries, but what else is new? Wow, we're already at 400 guests. Value... Yeah, well, that was quick. Park value already went all the way up. And now it's raining again. So, you know, they're going to start buying those umbrellas. Yep, all that money just pouring in. Yeah, that's always fun. But they do tend to not queue up for roller coasters during the rain, so it's not... You don't necessarily want it to be raining so you can make a bunch of money on umbrellas, because your rides aren't going to be operating as well, and then they're going to be on the paths, and then they're going to complain that the paths are crowded. And they're going to barf on the paths, and then you have to have your handyman clean it up. Let's go ahead and hire a couple more of those. There we go. Oh, and then I scrolled all the way out. Yeah, I want to do some decorating here. We have fences and walls. We have... These are from RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. This was not present in the original game. But you can build some pretty interesting looking buildings with all these different pieces. It's just a little tricky in the isometric view. We might do something like this in a later video, but for this one, there's really not too much of a point. But the gardens, the flowers always look really nice. So what you can do, and like, you don't charge guests to do this, but you can just, you know, take a little bit of a spot and just put a variety of plants in a little path. They'll walk around and they'll take a look at stuff. And they'll say, wow, the scenery here is beautiful. And you can say, yes, thank you, I did it myself. And then, of course, there's different types of path lighting and everything. So, you know, I just like to give a little bit of something for them to look at and appreciate. Also, additional seating is never a bad thing. Yeah, see, this is already super popular. We can take a look at... Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Profit of $6,700 an hour. I'll take that any day of the week. And we got a new roller coaster, a couple of them. But the Spinning Wild Mouse is a pretty fun one. Let's see. Again, they don't have any of this scenery, which is unfortunate, because some of these look really, really cool. So maybe we don't do that. The Suspended Swinging Coaster. Okay, these are actually kind of expensive. I might not be able to build these, because I don't want to take out too many more. That looks insane. $35,000. We've got options. The Classic Mini Roller Coaster is it was called the Junior Coaster in my version of the game. But this El Cheapo is something I made. I'm not going to build it. I'll just show you. Well, I'm not going to use it, but I will build it to just show you how stupid this is. So the idea with this is it's the cheapest, smallest possible configuration for this roller coaster that actually works. And it prints money all day long. You can charge them $2 to ride this in a lot of scenarios, and they'll just do it. And it just goes, zoop, and it comes back, just continuously. And they'll ride it, and you'll make a ton of money. You can put like, I don't know, 10 of these down and just beat almost any scenario. It's completely broken, and that's why we're not going to use it. But I did want to show that to you because I thought that was kind of funny. We'll go ahead and get those paths out of here. But to be serious about the Classic Mini Roller Coaster, there are other designs, and again, they don't have the scenery, which is unfortunate. But this is a really cool roller coaster idea. Like, see, this one right here is actually... Well, it's one roller coaster, but it's designed to look like it's two that race each other. It's really just one really long roller coaster with a station in the middle, in addition to the station, well, I guess the other middle because it's a circuit, but they just have different track sections, colored different things, so it looks like a different roller coaster, and they technically race each other, but it's all one thing. Versus other rides where you could have multiple roller coasters all going inside of each other and whatnot. Yeah, some of these designs that are in here are just completely insane. There's others like why are you having the Helix corkscrew thing and the mini roller coaster is supposed to be the thing the kids ride? Ooh, okay, so we got some nasty on the paths here, and this is actually queue is completely filling up, so we can probably raise the price on this. We could go up to $4 easy. So let's do that. I don't think they'll tolerate 5, but I think they will do 4. And the shuttle loop probably could go a little higher than $1, but we don't need to extort them, necessarily. Not for this scenario. We just want to make something that is actually, you know, viable, is going to be reasonably enjoyable. See, if I had better flat rides, I could put some other stuff in here, but there's not that many options. The pirate ship, a swinging ship, was what that would have been called in my version of the game. You know, but maybe that would be a decent thing to put here. We just have to figure out how we're going to do the... no, that's not going to work. Because the way that the entrance goes in this, you could pretty much only have a couple of tiles unless you wanted to do a really weird snake type of thing. Which, honestly, we might need to do, because this will hold... It holds 16 passengers, which means a full queue would be 3 entire tiles plus 1 to fill up the ship. So I think that's what we'll do. The number of swings... 11 is probably fine. We'll charge, say, $1.50, I think, is what I usually would do for this. So I think the best way to go about doing this one is going to be to come in this way, and then, yep, get that to show up there. Pop in a bench. Yeah, that's a whole lot of screaming going on. If we zoom out, it's not going to be quite as abhorrent, but then you can't really see too much. Yeah, we'll I'm gonna tell one of these handymen to just, you know, focus on... Oh, this is a new thing. It used to be you had to right-click to unassign, but now you can modularly assign these paths. It used to be on the original game, these would always just go only in these 4x4 segments. But this is a little bit better. Anyway, that guy is just going to patrol here until all the stuff is swept up, because there's a lot of it here. We'll just be parked there. And look, $4 a piece, they're still completely filling the queue. 82 people in the queue line. Oh, we never... Sometimes there's a different vehicle option you can choose here. But we never opened this. Let's do that. And then there's not really any decorations we can do that are pirate-themed. Where was the... there it is. But, I mean, we have these weird little fountains. And, whatever. I don't know if that's something we necessarily want or need to put in, but hey, it's something else to look at, you know? It's not a bad thing. We have different hedges and walls and stuff that we have not done anything with so far. But I like the idea of kind of creating, for some of these rides, creating a space around them. Like, say, this railing here. Just come in like so, just enclose everything. And you can't come in from this side of the tile to fit the... I gotta pause this. I can't listen to that screaming and actually talk to it at the same time. Oh, you can't build while the game's paused, of course. Alright, well, we'll just suffer then. Anyway. I just wanted to have this whole thing, you know, just nicely enclosed. Maybe do a little bit more theming in here. But the idea is you create an environment for a ride specifically in that area. And of course, we could have other stuff here. If we really wanted to go super into the theming, we could do different things and rename them to be themed around the ride. Like if you had like a fun name for a pirate-themed restaurant or something that you could think of to put something in, then we do that. But for now, I'm just going to put another bathroom here, just so we have multiples of those. Sometimes guests who are feeling sick will just go to the bathroom and that'll solve their sick need. Sometimes it doesn't. Never really guaranteed. But having the option is always nice. Now here we're at July 30th. We have 530-something guests. That's a lot for a small park. So it does tend to get a little crowded. So that is why, you know, we have all this other space over here we haven't really done too much with. Probably would be nice to do a little bit more. The steeplechase is, you see these little horse vehicle designs. There's other ones that we can get, but a lot of them aren't available. I actually don't know if it says, the Ponytails one says vehicle designs unavailable. I thought that was horses. So what vehicle option does it give us then? This is a really long one, and that's a long one as well. This is just the regular old steeplechase, which I always thought was just like you ride a little horse thing on a single track. See, this one's got landscaping, looks kind of cool. If we can find... Yeah. See, that's a cool thing to just pop in the park. Just so you can have something that looks kind of nice. So why don't we just build that here? And it says, yeah, horses. So I don't know why it said vehicle design wasn't available. Ponytails, I would think they were going to be on horses. That's kind of the whole point. But let's start out at $2 for this one. We could talk a little bit about the pricing strategies that you can employ. But I always thought that you could reliably charge, when a ride is new, a dollar amount roughly equal to the excitement rating, which in this case would be $6.20. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes there is an upper limit to what they will pay to go on the rides, but in general I found that works a lot of the time, more often than it doesn't. So why don't we go ahead and try to change these paths around. So we have the option, because we're playing Open RCT2, we can change the support style. So I think that looks a little bit better than this just wooden scaffolding thing. So if you do very carefully click in the right spot to just reset this tile, we might have to rotate a couple times to make it work. But I think it looks a lot better to have the yellow with the larger quantity of the vertical stanchions there. That looks pretty good, I think. And we'll see what the statistics are about riding this. Of course, put in some benches. Yeah, see, that guy just barfed on the footpath. That's nice. Thanks for that. But you can see there's a little bit of scenery in here that actually looks pretty good. And a lot of the other ones that are user-submitted that got included in this have some really cool scenery. We just don't have the theming for it. So, let's see. Yeah, 5.47, so I think we can reasonably get away with charging a lot more than $2. But we're going to see what the throughput looks like on this. I don't think the ride has had that many cycles being completely full yet. So this number will change. If it doesn't, then we can raise the price, because you never want to lose money operating a ride. Like, remember this one, making a ton of money per hour since we changed it to $4. The shuttle loops did absolute money printers. You can charge almost anything you want for those. But this, okay, it's still losing money, but how many vehicles are on this? 5, okay. So that one just left. See, I try not to let this have somebody admitted when the admission price is not a full $1. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's just one of those little things that bothers me if it's not perfect. So raise it to $3. They don't seem to care. I don't think it's going to let me... it's not even going to tell me how many I could possibly have unless I closed it. But this seems to be a viable amount here. Yeah, see, now we're making a little bit more money. I think we can squeeze a little bit more out of these guys. But we're not quite there yet. I'll wait for that other one to leave. Yeah, there we go. Let's go up to $4, see what they see if they'll pay it, or if they get mad and start leaving. Like, sometimes they'll turn around and they'll walk back through the queue line to leave if they feel like they're paying too much money, or they find out they can't. If they got in line and then the price got raised. I'm not paying that much to go on ponytails. Well, normally that would be a bad thing, but, you know, the queue is full. We have 99 people in line to go on there, so I'm not worried about 1 or 2 people saying that they don't want to pay to do it. But I think now, for the purposes of, you know, this first video on a very simple scenario, we probably don't need to do too much more. Except focus on paying back the loan, and look, the park value is already sky high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in triple speed. I'm not going to use the turbo quite yet. But we'll just monitor everything else. I mean, the car ride is still pretty popular. You're not going to be in this specific scenario long enough to see what happens when an attraction ages. There is a certain point at which people will stop having interest in riding, say, a roller coaster, and then you won't be able to charge as much to go on it. But then when a ride gets really old, you can get people to pay money to go on it again. If you have not watched his videos, there is a YouTuber by the name of Marcel Voss who is very, very good at explaining how this game works, and has done a bunch of torture testing and all sorts of stuff. Really, really good, high-quality videos. I very much suggest you go check his stuff out. I'm just having fun playing the game. I'm not a RollerCoaster Tycoon scientist or whatever, but he is. So we got the fries shop unlocked, so we can actually go in here and we can add another thing to our little food court area. So what I'll do is I'll just pop that guy right there, and then extend our path, and pop in a trash can or 2 there. That's looking good. See, this queue is, it's not full anymore, but everyone who's in there pretty much doesn't seem to care that it costs $4. Wait, hold on. Why was that empty? Oh, okay. No, that's where the, they enter here and they exit here. They're 2 separate station platforms. I forgot this one did that. But, now if this queue continues to decrease to the point where nobody rides the ride, then we need to lower the price. But for the time being, it seems like it's going to be okay. So we'll leave that alone. Now, why is this not paying that much to... Okay, so very, very quickly is going to lose a little bit of a something if you're charging a lot of money to go on a ride. So I think for the purposes of, you know, actually having this work, we can lower this back down to 3. And then people are going to start riding it again. Like, it's a little bit of a guessing game for pricing rides, I found. And, you know, sometimes you're just going to lose. It is too bad in the era of high-resolution monitors that everything is so small on the screen, because these sick ones have the most hilarious green faces. They range, I don't know, that one doesn't look super sick. But some, yeah, see, like this guy right here, you click on that, and he's like, oh, he's about to spew. Or I guess Julie, I guess that's a she. They weren't named in the original game. That was the RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 thing. So you just kind of, everyone was just the amorphous whatever kind of deal. I've also been told that the lawn mowing is completely pointless and doesn't affect anything except your personal pride, so I never do it. And in fact, the handyman by default is not told to mow grass in this version of the game. RollerCoaster Tycoon 1, they were, and then you had to manually uncheck mowing grass, or else all they would ever do is just go mow grass, and that's a huge waste of time. But, you know, I think we're at the point now where we can pretty much just sit back and let this scenario play itself out. So we'll run this for a little bit, and then see how much money we can get brought in, pay off a little bit of our loan, and then, well, at this point we've already beaten my high score for company value. But I really would like to pay off as much of the loan as we can. We've got another 6 weeks in-game to do it. It's just a process. You gotta make sure that you have at least another rainstorm so you can sell a bunch of $20 umbrellas. That's just the way it goes. They can't find the bathrooms. They're not that hard to find. You got one here and you got one... Is that the only bathroom? Is that actually the only bathroom? I thought okay. So there is just the one. But I thought for sure I'd... Oh, no. I'm stupid. That was like the first thing I put in. I got 2 restrooms. 2 of them. And, you know, these guys actually probably would like to have some more places to sit. But I don't think we really need to be that concerned about it. A longer-lived park, maybe. Yeah, so now there's 5 people in the queue line. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lower the price to try and get more people in to ride this. Go down to 3. Yeah, see, there they go. They come right back in. Sometimes you just have to play with it. Some scenarios you can really get away with a lot in terms of pricing people out of rides. And sometimes you can't. I honestly don't know how to determine which one's which. You just have to experiment and see what works. But everything else is looking pretty good. The swinging ship, pirate ship, nobody's in the queue line. Why? Not paying that much to go on it? Alright. Cheapskates. What if I made it 50 cents? Would you go on it then? Okay. Yeah, see, they'll go on it when it's 50 cents. They don't care. $1.50? That's way too much. Way too much, man. I'm not going on the pirate ship for $1.50. I can pay 50 cents. Yeah, see, now there's 100-some people in the line for this thing, so I guess the $3 was the way to go all along. Yep, see, now we're basically at the end of the scenario, October 25th. So I will take this out of turbo mode. And I would really like to pay off the rest of the loan. But 1 year, I guess a year in RollerCoaster Tycoon is only March through October, so it's not really a full year. But that is, it's not really going to be enough time to make that much money. But company value is still higher than it was the last time I played this, so I think we can consider that a win. It's just too bad we don't have balloons. And again, that's something that has to get unlocked in this scenario. I don't think it exists. But if you have balloons and you win a scenario, then all the guests will let go of their balloons and they float up and you can see a whole bunch of balloons in the shape of where your path system is. And they all clap. It's a fun time. But we'll see that here in just a moment. We'll just speed through that. Now it's October 31st, the last day of the season. And then we'll get our scenario victory momentarily. And then we'll do a little bit of a debrief here. There we go. We won. 250 guests. We have 681. And our company value is $108,000. That's always good. And I will, of course, put my name here, as I always do. There we go. Now the high score has been updated. We got an award for the best value park in the country. But yeah, that is Forest Frontiers. Taken a little bit longer than it would to actually win the scenario, but if you're going to do something, you might as well have fun with it. And not just do the bare minimum to get by. So, you know, maybe a little overdeveloped, but that's the way it goes. Let me know if you want to see more series on this game. We have, I think, 90-something scenarios across all the expansion packs and all the iterations and everything. I would love to keep doing this stuff, but if you have any specific stuff you'd like to see in future ones, please do drop those in the comments. I always read them. And I am thankful that you chose to spend some time with me today revisiting this 25-year-old game at this point. But it's still good fun. And Chris Sawyer coded this in assembly. Like, are you serious? Come on, man. You can't do that anymore. It runs fantastically. I'm getting 205 frames per second on an isometric view game running in some sort of, I don't even know, some sort of adapted recode thing. I'm not a programmer. I was a music major, okay? I just take these things as they come. But just thanks for being here. Beard Boosters, of course, you've seen your name scrolling up on screen forever. You subsidize the content here on the channel, and you make it possible to try new stuff that isn't just beavers. And see if people want to see different series or long series or short series or whatever have you. Your support makes it possible. I'm really appreciative of you. And, of course, everybody as well. But whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, hope you have a fun time. Stay safe, and we'll see you back again soon for more RollerCoaster Tycoon, hopefully, if you guys like it. If not, well, I'm going to put it up anyway, and we'll see how long it takes for people to catch on with it. But that's all I got, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.